Hey guys, Greg Jeffries. I'm going to be on the Online Prosperity Show, and in this episode, we're going to be talking about how to achieve $100 to $200 a day online with affiliate marketing using free or very inexpensive strategies. So stick around.
Welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Online Prosperity Show. And today we brought you the SEO expert himself, Greg. Greg, how are you doing, my man?
How's it going? Good. Thanks for having me.
Fantastic. Now, obviously, people that are watching this show are people that want to have businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. And by that means they want to have a good digital presence and also be found when their clients are searching for them. Now, things like SEO, personal branding, and all the stuff that gets your customers in front of you are really important when it comes to being seen online or on the search engines there. So that's the reason why we brought in Greg, who's among the top SEO experts in his fields, especially when it comes to affiliate SEO, right, Greg?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So he's going to be talking to us exactly what he does within his business. And one of the things that he helps people to do is to achieve between $100 to $200 a day online with affiliate marketing using free or very inexpensive strategies. Now, Greg, tell us a little bit about how you got started and what it is that you actually do there.
Yeah, so just kind of the typical hard knocks story. Just, I came from a middle class background, so I didn't have like a lot of money to start out with, like most people. So just, worked a job during the day, kind of did a little side hustle in the night and the evening and the weekends, just trying to learn this stuff. So spent a lot of money on courses and softwares and, mentors and stuff over the last couple of years, and eventually just learned enough about SEO, and I just sort of gravitated that direction. So, just by putting more and more content out there, I got more and more results, and eventually just got to the point where I started focusing on that primarily because that was what was, making me some money and then more money. And I just, the more focus I gave to it, the income kind of increased as a result. And so, eventually just started doing more and more of that and teaching others what I've learned, because a lot of the things I've learned over the years, they're not really taught in any other course. Because the big epiphanies I've gotten have come from a mixture of just taking action and having been through multiple courses. But a lot of the things I teach in my training and stuff, you're not going to find it in another course because nobody teaches the things. Like some of the things I've acquired the information I've acquired over the years, they've come from like private masterminds or just by in-person meetings and live meetups and stuff. So they're not, a lot of the people, this goes for anything, not just SEO, but a lot of people that are really good at whatever it is they're doing, a lot of times they don't make courses. So, the people that are really good at things, they're busy doing those things. They're not sitting down and creating courses. So anyway, to sum it up, I sort of gravitated towards affiliate SEO, which means, I don't have to kind of promoting and marketing products and services. So it gives me the freedom to promote and market anything I want without having to, go into a 9-to-5. I don't have a boss and I don't really have any employees working under me. So I don't have, sometimes I outsource a few things, but that I don't have to manage anybody and I don't have anybody to report to. So I'm pretty much just a one-man show, just a solopreneur. I don't have an agency or anything like that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for clarifying that aspect there. Now, obviously, what you did was you went out, you you got that we're here to live, we're here to learn, and we're here to contribute. So you lived the life, and then you realized you wanted more, and then you started learning, and you got information from places that are not accessible to a whole lot of people. Now you're contributing that learning by giving out that information in terms of your course and things like that. So thank you so much for your contribution there. And from what I've heard, you also managed to niche down, which means you didn't go on and did the whole scope of what SEO really is. But I really want to just pull back the curtain a little bit. What actually is SEO for that one person who hasn't, woken up from the rocks they're living under to pretty much grasp what it is and what it entails and the magnitude of what SEO can do for a business?
Yeah, so I mean, just SEO is just an acronym. It stands for search engine optimization, and put simply, all that is basically just optimizing content, whether it be a YouTube video or a blog post or any other piece of content, to rank it within the search engines, because there's a structure to how the search engines like Google and Yahoo rank content. It has to be pretty much someone told me this interesting story from years ago with Google, like when before they became like the Google that we all know. And they basically have 3 rules for ranking content. One is to be relevant. The second rule is to be popular, and the third rule is basically to not be evil. And what that means, kind of translated, is number 1, be relevant, which means the best example of that is kind of Wikipedia. So when you type in any keyword, pretty much Wikipedia is somewhere on the first page, whether it be a band or a celebrity or anything like that. And the reason it's for the content is a big reason, but also the way that the content is structured. So that's, number 1 or whatever. And then being popular just basically means having social proof, having authority, having other links and websites pointing to you. So that's the off-page element. The content itself on the page is the on-page. So that's really the only 2 elements of SEO. And then, like, what they meant by not being evil just means not using like black hat, shady tactics to kind of game the system. Like, all SEO is sort of black hat or gray hat, if you want to call it that, because you are gaming the search engines to rank, but you're just sort of speeding up what you would do naturally. Because the reason that, like, Huffington Post and just like other popular huge sites out there like BuzzFeed or whatever, the reason that they rank so high, or the Wikipedias and stuff, is because of all the, again, one is the content on the page and the way it's structured, and then another big factor is the fact that maybe that like Huffington Post, for example, they have millions of articles out there that have been shared a lot and have other links pointing back to it. So when you factor in that, like that site is going to have a lot of authority in the eyes of Google. So that's kind of what SEO is.
Absolutely. Like you've really, even for somebody who doesn't understand it, because you've really nailed it. It's all about optimization and authority. And if Google trusts what you're saying and how popular it is, then obviously it's a sign that other websites are putting up their hand to say that your website actually is valid and relevant information, which you've just mentioned there. So is it something that any beginner can start with, or will it work? Whatever it is that you teach people, would it start for somebody who doesn't quite understand what they're doing? Or is it somebody who needs to have some level or some skin in the game for them to start your course?
My course, I designed it for all levels of people, so from beginners, intermediate to advanced. So anybody can go through it and should be able to have success there. Obviously, if you're a complete beginner, like you literally only know how to turn on a computer, there is going to be a small learning curve, just as with anything new. But as long as you get over that hump of just learning what a domain is, a website, and how to connect those two, and I show you how to do all that. The foundational like principles behind SEO are very it's just common sense. Like it's very simple. Like you don't my beef with a lot of other SEO courses out there is it just seems so mysterious and hard, and like I think that's the mindset of a lot of people that hear the word SEO, that it just seems so mysterious. Nobody really knows why stuff ranks, and it's really not that hard. Like it's like you have to remember that Google, it was designed by somebody, so there's a reason that stuff ranks. Like there's a order to it. It's not just mysteriousness, you know. There's a logic to their algorithm, you know. And so it's pretty simple. It's not some kind of secret voodoo, you know. It's anybody can do this. And the way that I teach it, if you want to rank for more competitive stuff like how to lose weight, like yes, anybody can rank for that in theory, but that is going to take a lot of time and a lot of probably money too, which is going to discourage people that are just getting started out. So I take a different approach. I teach people to rank for less competitive stuff, like the longer search phrases, but lots and lots of them, because other courses, they teach to rank for, you know, a keyword or like a product name followed by the word review. And that's all great and stuff, and you can do that, but there's just so many more keywords out there that are longer phrases. And the thing is that the advantage of targeting longer tail search phrases, they just have far less competition. And so it's easier for beginners to rank. Like, yes, they're going to get less traffic for each of those keywords, but since it's so simple to rank for them, basically all you have to do to rank for a lot of those is just create content for that specific keyword. Like you don't have to have a billion likes and shares and, you know, 300 links sent to each one of those. You literally just have to show up, which means creating a unique video or a unique blog post or article about that search phrase, and that, like, you will probably show up on page 1 of YouTube and Google for that. And so if you do that a couple of 100 times, you know, you're gonna start siphoning in some traffic from that. And so anybody, like, that was the little element that I was trying to figure out when I first started, when I didn't have a lot of money, was like, how do you, like, all these courses out there, they're teaching and showing these examples of like $10,000 a day or $10,000 a month. That's great, but how do you get from $0 to like $10 a day? That's what I wanted to know. Like, as a beginner, like, how do you make that first, you know, 50 or $100? Because if you can teach people how to do that, all you have to do to make 5,000 is to do that 100 more times. Like, if you can just, you know, show people how to make that first couple dollars, then it's a game changer, because that's what most people, that's their hurdle they need to get over. And that's what I kind of discovered with what I'm doing with SEO. So I have a little bit of different approach than other people teach it. And I feel like I kind of demystify it. Whereas other courses, like, this stuff has been taught before, but I feel like the other people that have courses out there that teach it, it's taught in a way that's so over your head that, yeah, they're telling you what to do, but it's like learning a different language. The people, like, if somebody's brand new and they go through their course, they're not even gonna digest it or stick, because even though that person's giving them the answer, they're giving it to them in like code, you know, and they're just like, I have no idea how to apply this.
Absolutely. So obviously, now that we've established that even a beginner can do it, and it's not a difficult language, is that something, obviously there's quite a lot that is involved, and making that first $1 online is the hardest thing, like you've mentioned, for quite a lot of internet entrepreneurs, just making that $1 online. How much does it actually cost to get started with you?
So, I mean, the information for the course is, you know, aside from that, which is we'll plug that in the end, I guess. But so there's a couple $100 right now for my course, which is, you know, very small in comparison to all the thousands of dollars I spent to learn all this stuff. Like, and I teach people everything they need to know. So not only what to do, but I give them the exact tools and resources that I recommend. So they're not going to have to try to go out and find those and stuff. Cause that in itself, you know, that people can spend thousands of dollars trying to, like when I mentioned domains and hosting, okay, there's like 10,000 domain registrars. There's you know, hundreds of hosting services. Which one do you go with? So I give people the exact ones I recommend. But what was the question again? The cost.
What else is involved? Yeah. Yes. What else is involved with? Yeah.
Yeah. So there's different. I mean, there's all kinds of different tools out there, but I try to keep the newbie in mind when I was designing this course. Is like the newbie that doesn't have that much money, maybe a couple $100. Like I kind of, because that's where I was for a very long time. So I created this course around that kind of avatar. So other than a domain and hosting, which, you know, domains, 10 to 15 bucks each, hosting a couple of bucks a month, and you can host many different websites for that price. So those are your core tools. And then, you know, other than maybe a premium WordPress theme and a couple of plugins that I recommend, like what I teach people, my framework, a couple of $100 is like all you need. And that's plenty to get started with as far as a budget. Now, again, of course, there's other tools and stuff that you can buy, but I don't want to paint this image that you need all these thousands of dollars of tools, because you don't need them. Like, yes, they're helpful once you're making money. If you want to grow quicker and stuff, like you want to just expand, you know, like when you make your first $100, you know, you probably want to figure out how you can make the, you know, $1,000 or $10,000 as quickly as possible. So, you know, if you want to grow quicker, you may want to invest in some other tools. But the basics are just a domain, a hosting. And honestly, if you just have those two things, which, I mean, that's what, $100 or less, literally by just doing, targeting the right keywords, like, and don't get hung up, anybody watching this, on like the right ones, because there's thousands of keywords. Like I feel also in these other courses and a lot of other strategies out there, there's this undertone of competition and stuff. And so the way that I approach SEO and these long tail keywords, there's so little competition. Like there's so many blue oceans out there, thousands and thousands and thousands of keywords. So I don't want people to get hung up on like the perfect product to promote, because there's a lot of perfect products. And you're probably going to pick a few duds when you first start out, but like just as an example of just the abundance of products, like just go on Amazon, look at some of the best sellers. There's literally like hundreds of new products every single day and those are just the best sellers. There's still like a billion other products that are maybe not the best sellers that are also selling, that, you know, maybe they're not selling 10,000 a day, but, you know, they're still making money. So you can promote any of that stuff. So anyway, long-winded answer, but you don't have to have a ton of money to get started in it, because that's another barrier that holds people back. Is one is like they think it's mysterious, the SEO, and then two is, man, I don't have $10,000, and you're like, well, you don't need that. That's, you know, that's other marketers trying to sell you stuff that you don't necessarily need. So.
Absolutely. So obviously now we've figured out this newbie can jump in with no really that many overheads. They've probably been trying to get that $1. So let's just really work on, you know, that metaphorical $1. They're trying to get that $1 online for the first time ever. And, you know, they probably don't have the time. They probably really don't have the wherewithal to complete the course. How long does the course take?
That's another thing I kept in mind when putting together. So it's Yeah, I haven't added it all up, but it's probably not much more than like 3 hours like total. So, you can go through it in a day. It's not going to be some 4-week course or anything like that. Nobody has time for that. So, and I'm quite aware of that. Like I want you to be able to go through the course as quickly as possible so you can focus on the implementation. That's what's going to get you results. You're not going to make money just by buying my course and going through it and not doing anything. Like you have to actually implement it. So yeah, it's not that long. And but as in regards to them not having time, I know everybody's got a different situation. Some people are I'm single at the moment, so I have a lot of time. But some people have are married, they have kids, multiple kids, and I get that. They have less and less time. But if you're really serious, like you will have to find the time. You can't use that as an excuse. Like you have to find the time somewhere. Or you have to find the money to pay someone. Like you can outsource all the stuff that I teach, but either way, like you can't use that as an excuse. Like I know people are going to use that as an excuse, but like you can't. Like if you want success, you'll have to find a way to carve out that time and make this work. And it might, if you have a lot of responsibilities, if you have 2 jobs and multiple kids and things like that, like you're just going to have to chip away at this a little bit more slowly. Like you may only have an hour a day. You just have to work with that, until you can carve out, maybe you can work your way up until you don't need that second job. And now you have more time, and then you use that time and you just kind of snowball, and you'll eventually make more and more money. But you have to work with what you've got. You can't, everybody's got excuses. Nobody's got enough time. We've all only got 24 hours in a day. Like I wish I had more time, but I don't. So you just have to work with what you've got. This stuff that I teach and I do, it isn't hard. It doesn't take a lot of, I don't work 18 hours a day. Yes, you have to put in effort, but I'm not into the Gary V, like hustle, grind all day. Like that's not sustainable for most people. Not for me at least. So yes, I put in effort, but I don't work 18 hours a day. I don't know anybody that does that for long periods of time. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So, but I'm sure you got the results to show for that. So yeah, if I decided to do that, I'd have much bigger results, but I'm comfortable. So.
Absolutely. Obviously, okay. So let's say I've put in all the work, like you said, even if the minimum that is, and I've done the 2-3 hours that the course entails. How long then should I wait until I start seeing results?
That's a very common question. It's kind of a hard one to answer because everybody's results are going to be different, obviously. But I like on the low end, I don't want to tell people some low figure and then be disappointed. So at least give yourself like 60 to 90 days to get some traction. And if you're newer, it may even take you longer than that. So if this information is like completely brand new, you don't even know what SEO is, there is going to be that learning curve. It's just like, if you're told this example before, like if you, I don't know much about basketball. I'm not very good at sports, but if I had the best coach in the world, if I had like Michael Jordan come coach me on how to shoot free throws, and in 30 days I wasn't the best free throw shooter in the world, could I really say that like the instruction, the method that he was teaching me was like crap? Like, no, he's the best, or he's one of the best basketball players of all time. So, but I don't know much. I don't have much experience with, shooting basketballs and stuff. So it's not that the, method doesn't work. It's that I'm not that experienced. I have 30 days of experience shooting a basketball. So even if I did that every single day, like I'd only be a small percentage as good as someone like Michael Jordan because he's done that his whole life, So give yourself time to make it work. Like the timeline I like to give people is like, give yourself a whole year, give yourself 12 months to just become good at this, like, and master this. Like, cause I don't want to tell people, oh, it's only, you're going to make $1,000 in the first month. Like, I can, because I've done it longer than you, but like you probably won't, is the reality, because it's if it's brand new to you, like, you're learning, you got to give yourself time to become good at this. But if you put in the effort and you're serious, and you're going to get better and better over time. So the number, or I like to give people, is like at least 12 months, at least a year, to just really become good at it. Because like you said, you have an agency. Well, how long did it tell? You're probably comfortable with what you're doing right now, and maybe if you have employees or your processes, and delegating those tasks. But how long did it take you to get good at that? Were you good the first week?
I can tell you, it takes 21 years to be 21 years. Right? There is no overnight success, and you're absolutely right. It's an ongoing learning, and sometimes Google does change its algorithms. You got to be on top of that, and so it's an ongoing process of learning up until you really, really master a bit of the craft. But there's always basics. There's always the bottom line, the foundation of which I suppose this is what you are teaching people there. Now, great. Tell me a little something. Obviously, okay, so we've done the 3 days. We've done, the first initial part. Results are probably sort of trickling in, but not as fast as everybody else wants, because everybody these days expects instant gratification. You know what I mean? We just want, if I send a message today, I expect a response tomorrow, the latest. If not, I'm probably going to call the police and find out if you're okay, or are you ignoring me? I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's just the way we're built up now. When we start sort of working together and I've taken in the course, is there some sort of ongoing support, or do I just do the course and then I'm on my own?
No, as far as the training, I understand that, people are going to have questions, and, I don't want people to be on their own. So there is a Facebook group for everybody that's invested in my course, so you can collaborate with other people, kind of get encouragement. I'll be in there answering questions. And then, I don't have all the time in the world. I, kind of split my time between actually doing what I teach. And then, but for people that, if they show me that they're really putting in the effort, I can hop on Skype with them and answer their questions. But, obviously the more people that invest in the course, I won't be able to do that as much, because, if you get hundreds and thousands of people, I don't have 10,000 hours in a day. I can't do that. But, I've spent hours with several people that have invested in the course, just because I want them to be successful. Like, I don't have to teach this. I don't have to share this information with people. Like, I'm already getting results. I don't have to prove to myself that this works. I can just kind of be anonymous, stop selling my course and just keep doing this. And like, you'll never know, that I exist. I'm just, because you don't know the sites that I own. Like, I don't put my face on all the sites. You don't know that you're going through my affiliate links and stuff. But I really, it took me so long to figure this out. And this is what I was kind of looking for when I first started out, that, other people say this all the time. Like, if I had this when I first started out, man, it would have saved me like tens of thousands of dollars and about 7 years of my life. And so I want to give that to other people, because I know there's so many people out there that are looking for a solution to just, $100 to $200 a day. I'm not, and I'm not promising that you're going to get that or in a certain amount of time, but I don't want to say that, you're going to make $10 million this year, because most people don't even, when you sit down and talk to them about what they really want, as far as it really just comes down to freedom, and freedom doesn't cost $10 million a year. Like, $100 to $200 a day, you can live comfortably. You can, you may need a little more if you have a family or whatever, but you can work up to that. So that's the goal of the course.
Absolutely. I really like that you're showing people the way, especially the newbies that don't quite know that just creating a website these days is not the be it and end all. There's quite a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes in order for customers to actually then land onto that website. I see in a lot of forums or in a lot of groups, people saying, oh, how do I get traffic? Speak to Greg. He'll sort you out. Now, if somebody's watching this show right now and is probably enlightened and now knows that there's a whole world behind the scenes of a website, what's the best way that people can either join this course or get a hold of you to ask you further questions?
Yeah, you can, you can, I guess, try to find me on Facebook. Maybe, I don't know if there's going to be links somewhere around here, but for the course is called SEO Affiliate Domination. So if you just Google that, you should find that. And, there's lots of questions, the common, frequently asked questions on there. So I'm sure people watching this, they'll probably have a lot of questions. I try to answer as many of those as possible on the page, just so that, you don't have to message me with those. But if you still have questions, hit me up. You can find me on Facebook. So that's kind of where I hang out the most. So.
Absolutely. I will be putting in the links that you just mentioned right at the bottom in the show notes there. Now, obviously, like, there's newbies out there, people that are looking to have businesses that are profitable and they actually enjoy working in their business. You've done it. There you are, sitting on a six-figure affiliate business, and you're also helping others along the way. What sort of last minute advice can you give to somebody who's probably just sitting on the fence right now and thinking, okay, 2018 is going to be my year, I'm going to do something, but 2017 I said the same thing, 2016 I said the same thing, and 2015 I was probably still in college. So what sort of words would you give to somebody who really needs to get that, fire under their belly for 2018 to start something that, would lead them to that freedom that you talk about?
Yeah, just kind of go all in. I mean, find a course or a mentor that somebody that's already achieved the success that you're looking to achieve, which, maybe I have, but maybe you don't want to do SEO. Maybe you don't like the way I talk or something. I don't know. Maybe you don't want my course. That's fine. Whatever you're interested in, find a mentor or somebody that has a course, somebody that you can trust that has mastered that thing, and then just have discipline and focus on that thing. Don't get, like, if you buy my course, don't go buy a Shopify course and a Facebook course and another course. Focus on this for like the next year and master this. Don't get distracted. I mean, if you're going to buy anything, buy things that are pertaining to this. Maybe WordPress plugins that are going to help your sites rank or something, but don't go buy like a Shopify and a drop shipping course and all this stuff, like, and go deplete your your resources and stuff. Like, stay laser focused on this or whatever it is. Like, if you don't like SEO, you really want to start a Shopify store, go do that and focus solely on that. And I would also encourage people to definitely start going to live events. Like, I know they cost a couple $100, and a lot of times the events themselves aren't too expensive, but then you got to factor in plane ticket and then the hotels and food and stuff. And it does add up to a couple thousand, but like, that has been has made a big impact on my success. So I just started getting out of my comfort zone last year and going to live events. And like, when I started talking to people there that I knew of, I met a lot of people that I was familiar with, but I'd never met them in person. I said, how did you guys get started? They got started a long time ago. And I was like, how did you guys get success so quickly when you started out? They're like, oh yeah, there's the guys that like, oh, I just started internet marketing, like in 3 months I made like $100,000. I was like, oh, how did you do that? And they're like, I don't know, I just started going to live events and meeting people. And so as soon as you start getting some traction, try to go to some of these live events. There's lots of great affiliate marketing. There's the affiliate summit and all these other just events where internet marketers hang out, and that in itself, you're going to meet some people, probably some people that you can pay as mentors that really know their stuff. Because you got to remember, the people that, like, the caliber of people that show up to these events, are just like you. They had to shell out the money for the ticket and the plane ticket and the hotel. So like, they're committed. If somebody's going to, especially if like you're in Australia, if you came to an event in the US, like, that's a long way for you to go. And so you're really committed and serious about your success. So the caliber of people that show up to these live events are just going to be a lot higher quality than maybe some of the connections that you can meet I don't know, elsewhere or whatever, or just like through Facebook Messenger or something. Not to say that you can't talk to millionaires there, but like just the caliber of people that are going to show up, like it's definitely worth finding a handful of events that you can maybe frequent every year, and maybe even mix it up and try out different events every year. But yeah, just to go back to the first step is just finding, like the advice that a guy told me at one of my first events was, he said, go to live events and then find a mentor. So that kind of goes hand in hand with the course, find somebody, either somebody or a course that you trust. But the thing about going to these live events is you can get the truth. So when you're online, you're kind of trying to make your own assessments of, like, you may not know who I am. We're doing this interview, so hopefully there's some rapport established between me and you that gives me some authority and they can see that I'm a real person. But when you're at these live events, you can talk to the people that you see on these, I may be at some of these live events, so you can talk to me in person, corner me, ask me questions, and ask me, the truth on, like, this other guy that had a course, like, is it legit? Is he legit? Is he actually making money? Where you're not going to get a lot of those same answers on Facebook Messenger or by, assessing those people on your own. You're just sort of like, I hope this course is good. I hope this information works. Whereas, when you're face to face with somebody that you're, either you bought their course or whatever. Anyway, you can just get more insight and information to, or point it in the right direction to somebody that you could trust, like know, like, and trust. Because like you might meet you might meet me. I've got an SEO course, but if you're looking to learn Facebook, I could refer you to somebody that I really trust that does Facebook, and that way you wouldn't have to figure out who has the best Facebook course. Things like that. So you can really just leapfrog your way towards, like, the right people without having to spend a lot of extra time and money if you're trying to figure out all that stuff on your own. I know it's a long answer, but basically, live events are where it's at, and like mentors. And another note on kind of mentors and stuff, this is an insight I've learned over the years. And I do this all the time now since I make a little bit more money. If I want to build a relationship with somebody, one of the fastest ways to do that is to buy their product. And that's not just saying, like, buy my product or whatever, but I literally just did this a couple of weeks ago. And I bought this guy's product. So I wanted his product, but I also wanted a relationship with him. And so it was a $997 product. It was a live event, and I just said, yeah, no problem. Like, I've got the money and I want access to this guy. And so that all of a sudden just opens up the door to a lot of stuff, because they're like, cool. Like, now I'm cool with him because I paid him money. Like, it's very simple. And so I'm basically buying relationships, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Even if you want a girl, you buy them lunch or you take them out on a date or something like that. So there's a lot of people that are buying gurus' attention, or people that are accomplished out there. So if you do show that you've got skin in the game and you're really, really serious, and you want to, just get yourself close to touching the hem, like you say, pay a bit of money or go and see them in live events, because you're an average of the 5 people you hang around with. So at that particular moment, if you're hanging around 5 well-accomplished SEO experts, then you are also counted as there was 5 SEO experts that was there. So that stigma sticks around with you, and you start owning it, and then it becomes your thing. I'm also just going to allude to something that you touched on a little bit. You did mention how to focus and how to, stay with the one thing. Focus is spelled Focus. And if you really, really look at it, it's follow one course until successful. A lot of people just dabble and they don't really sit around to see something through. Now, thank you so much there, Greg, for being so generous with your time, your expertise, and your knowledge on this show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Great stuff. Now,